Hey you, hello my dear brave friend. If you saw this channel, watched the videos and subscribed, then you are truly a fearless person. I share real scary stories on this channel. I should say in advance that if you are going to be scared, do not enter this channel. If you did, get well soon. You are now a part of our scary world. If you have a scary story, write it in the comments and let the next video be your story.
It was the darkest hours of the night. Even the pale lights of the street lamps could not penetrate Alexandra's room. Alexandra was tossing and turning in her bed, feeling strangely uneasy, as if something was wrong. Suddenly, his phone started vibrating. A number he didn't recognize appeared on the screen. When he opened the message, it said just 3 words: "I'm watching you." His heart began to beat rapidly. He quickly looked around. He knew he was alone in his room, but this message filled him with fear. He hung up the phone and went back to bed. But at that moment, a slow, ominous knock was heard coming from the door. He felt like there was someone behind his door. His breathing accelerated. His heart felt like it was going to explode in his chest.
"Who is there?"
He whispered, but there was no answer. He slowly got out of bed and stepped towards the door. He reached out his hand to the door handle and opened the door, taking a deep breath. At the end of the corridor, a figure appeared in the darkness. A dark figure with glowing eyes. The entity was approaching him as if it had emerged from the shadows. Alexandra stepped back, her heart breaking. However, the entity disappeared before it got close. A deep silence filled the room. When Alexandra turned around, a cold breath touched the back of her neck. A faceless being stood behind him, watching him. He wanted to scream, but no sound came out. Hands squeezed his throat. The last thing he remembered before fainting was bloody, long nails and a deep darkness. When Alexandra opened her eyes, she found herself bound. He was laid on a hard ground. He looked around. The ceiling was high and full of metal shelves. A cold air was surrounding him. This place was a morgue. His heart was beating like crazy. A scalpel and bloody cloths lying on a counter caught his attention. The traces of the brutal murders were still fresh. That's when he realized it was almost impossible for him to get out of here alive. A step was heard from the darkness. A man was slowly approaching him with a knife in his hand. His eyes were empty and shining madly. The evil grin hanging from his lips was frightening. The serial killer wore an apron made of human skins.
"I love my victims very much,"
muttered the man.
"but the devil wants to meet my favorite."
Alexandra, in tears, tried to break free from her bonds, but the ropes were very tight. The man started speaking.
"Yes, do you know how many people I have killed so far?"
Alexandra just stared at the man with her eyes in fear. The man repeated his question loudly.
"Do you know how many people I have killed so far, Alexandra? If you answer my questions, I can promise that I will kill you quickly. I told the same thing to those before you, but none of them listened to me. That's why I killed them all in a very long and painful way. Now it's your turn."
Alexandra wanted to speak, but she couldn't speak even if she wanted to, as if her mouth was sealed. It was as if she was in a dream. At that moment, he even thought, "I wish this was all a dream so that I could wake up now." But what happened was too real to be a dream.
"Why don't people talk to me, Alexandra?"
the man asked suddenly. Alexandra could tell from the man's voice that he was getting more and more angry. As the man approached her, she began to have difficulty breathing. Just as he brought the knife close to Alexandra's throat, a chilling sound echoed. The morgue is a refuge, not only for death, but also for souls. The man paused for a moment, drew back his knife, and a deep darkness covered every part of the room. Before Alexandra's eyes, the man's body began to twist and disintegrate in strange ways. As darkness was being sucked into the man, the demonic presence seemed to be taking his soul. Then everything went quiet. After a while, the morgue door opened quickly. 2 police officers entered. When they found Alexandra tied up, they immediately began to untie her. There was something they didn't realize at that moment. Ezgi's eyes. The devil was inside her now.
If you want to learn the rest of Alexandra's life and how the devil influenced her, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. So, what do you think? How do you think Alexandra's life will change in the next video? Will he fight the devil or not? Don't forget to write your own thoughts in the comments so that you don't become the next victim of the devil.